Okay, most probably you realize that I love aviation and everything about it. That's why I have all these models around me. And thanks to my store, I can show you this. This is a model of a turbine engine. So let's take a look what is inside. Okay, box is quite big, so let's open it. Okay, instruction. There's this cool pliers. Here we have a fan, outlet guide vanes from the turbine, stator vanes, either compressor or turbine, stand, combustion chamber shroud, chevron mixer, N1 and N2 shaft. This looks like a combustion chamber, high pressure turbine, compressor blades. That's a lot of screws. If I look at this, it looks like that this is a place where you put turbine blades or turbine discs. This looks like a slot for fuel nozzles. This is casing for turbine, compressor stator vanes. This is case for compressor, nose cone and exhaust cone, bearings, fan case, fuel nozzles. Here is electric motor, some more things. So let's see. Two Allen keys. And yeah, that's it. Well, I think I'll start with cleaning of those support parts. So I'll remove them one by one. Okay, first let's put together high pressure compressor. And all you need to do is follow the arrows, and it's quite easy. And blade discs and the stator vanes are coded. So number 1, an arrow. That means that you will find a slot, click it on, again number 1, down, and you follow the same pattern. Number 2, 3, 3, number 4, like this, number 4, yep, number 5, okay. The whole compressor is set together, so I need to finish N2 shaft by adding a high pressure turbine, which holds on the shaft by 4 bolts and 4 nuts. And since nuts are placed inside of the high pressure turbine, it will be a lot of fun to put it together because I somehow need to hold it inside. Let's see. Yep, that's 1, 2. Yeah, but in the end, gently tied it. Okay, cool. That was step 1. Now let's move to the step 2, which is low pressure turbine. Again, they are coded. We'll start with 7. This one's supposed to go over here. Over here. Then we turn it around. 8. This way. Again, following the markings. 9. And 9, again, following the markings. Cool. we can of course install this part. At this point I had really no idea how hard it would be to put N1 shaft together, because nuts are really deep inside of support for a low pressure turbine, and it took me good 15 minutes to install these 3 screws with the nuts. Okay, I finally have it in, so all what's remaining is just to tighten it a bit. Great. Now, this part of the shaft that we're gonna need big Allen key. Great. That's our turbine. Now, combustion chamber, and that can be interesting. We need to insert this segment, which will basically hold the nozzles. Now, yep, exactly. Now, this part, and that will fix the starter vanes on position. And now I need to remove those nozzles. And I'm really glad that they add almost all the tools which you're gonna need for assembling this kit, like this side cutters or Allen keys or the supports, which I will show you a little bit later. And only part which I add bent tweezers, but yeah, that's the only thing. Let's insert nozzles in a combustion chamber, and they need to fit inside of each hole. This part also took a few minutes to install, so let's jump a bit forward. Okay. Next part gonna be fan and shaft, and I guess, yes, of course, I think we can use one of these devices. And yes, in the box you can find several supports which will help you to install nuts on not really accessible position, but you will see. Insert nuts inside, and then I'll try to hold it with this device on a place, and then insert a screw. It works more or less. But it really requires a bit of skills. But in the end, cool. Perfect. So that's fun. So we have turbine compressor with a high pressure turbine. Now we can start to placing everything together. So let's begin with compressor, and it have dedicated slots where it sits, and then we need to use those small pins and that will hold stator vanes on place. That's one. Now, turbine, low pressure turbine to be more precise. And now we can insert front section as well. Great. And same procedure, just take a plug, push it through. Perfect. And so far it looks really good. Well, those are main parts. Now we can start to assembling things, which means that we will place combustion chamber on compressor, and we need to tie it all together, which means bolts and nuts. Combustion chamber, high pressure compressor and high pressure turbine are all together. All what's remaining is tight these bolts on the outer rim. So let's do it. Okay, they are all tied together. So we can proceed further, which means that we need to put together low pressure turbine and high pressure turbine, but for that we're gonna need a bearing which goes in between those two. Then we slide it in, and again I need to do the same procedure, which means install screw, washer and nut. So let's do it. Okay, they're all on the place. So again, all what's remaining is just to tie them. Great. Now we can install outlet guide vanes. Of course, another bearing. And now I need to install again bolts, nuts, and yeah, we'll then proceed to the next step. Hot section, we have assemble. As you can see, it nicely rotate. I tied all the bolts, and we can proceed with the installation of the fan, which means bearing and then fan case. But since this fan is driven by motor, we need to insert one more thing inside of the fan case, and we need to screw it together. On that we'll place then this small gear wheel, which will spin then the fan itself. But to that we'll get in a minute. I'm gonna screw this section together, sorry, and then I'll show you how it looks. So it's screwed in. Now we can put gear together. This goes, the small gear wheel goes here, and then we place it in. Then we spin it around, and this is a bit harder to install. The nuts here are a bit harder to install, and for that we have in the package this special tool. So you insert a bolt in, and 1 second, you will insert the bolt, then you use this little device. It's better to, yes, and then you just screw the bolt into the nut, and yeah, that's it. I'll proceed with all the rest of them. Let's speed it up a bit, but as you can see with this support, the installation is quite easy. But let's move to the next step, which is installation of the motor. This model is engine driven, so let's put together engine. I already remove all the part from this holder. It's quite easy to assemble it. This goes all the way around, and then you lock the engine on place from the both sides. Then you insert this part into low pressure turbine. Okay, let's try it other way around. Maybe it will be easier. Yeah, because like this you can see the shaft. And electric motor hold on place by 4 screws. So we'll speed it up a bit, but installation is again easy. And when those 4 screws are installed, we can proceed with installation of exhaust cone. Now, cone. So, cone on the place, locked. Great. So that's about it. Now we can insert the fan. Then we need another bearing, and as I said, there is a gear which will help to rotate high pressure or N2 section and low pressure and N1. So here is another part of the gear. So we slide it in. Oh yeah, now it sits. As you can see, it works perfectly. Okay, now let's screw the fan together with the assembly. That's deep. Perfect. Now we can apply front cone or nose cone. Yep. Now the fan frame, then we install exhaust mixer duct. But let's start with the fan frame. Okay, this will be the last part, because now it's holding us from the installation of the fan frame. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, that was last bolt from the fan frame. Now let's install inlet cone, and all what's remaining is mixer duct. So same procedure, screws washers and nuts. Okay, engine is finally assembled and details are awesome. Even though almost everything is made out of plastic, but it looks really cool. And what I love, that fan is turning one way with a low pressure turbine, and high pressure compressor and high pressure turbine is turning the other way around. Of course, that's caused by the gear which we set together before, but it looks awesome. And thanks to this model, you can really see the function of the engine. As you can see, you have fun. You're supposed to have here a few stages of low pressure compressor, but we don't have it here, unfortunately. Then you have 5 stages of high pressure compressor, which will compress the air for the combustion chamber. And then of course you can see nozzles which will spray the fuel into the combustion chamber. And of course here you can see hot section of the combustion chamber and the cooling part. Then high pressure turbine, which is nicely detailed, and of course all the stator vanes on each section, everything is really nicely shown. Then you have 4 stages of low pressure turbine, which in this case drive the fan and exit guide vanes and mixer duct, which will mix the cold air with the hot air. And basically this is the way which I route the cables inside. I'll try to give you a more detailed view later on. The cables go through the exhaust cone, through the side of the casing, and let's put it together. I already insert the battery in the holder. You're gonna need 2 AAA batteries. So put it engine on display. So batteries, I'll place cables inside here, and then I will place the battery holder down here. And now, moment of truth. And this is cool. It is a bit noisy though. Of course, you don't want to have this on all the time, but it is amazing demonstration model. Most probably you're not gonna be able to hide the cables. Maybe when you put it somewhere in behind, more than this. But as you can see, this is really cool. And the screws, adding that more industrial look, it looks really great. Okay, let's switch it off. And the last thing about which I want to talk with you guys is price. How much this amazing model will gonna cost you? Well, on most store from where I get it, it will gonna cost you $219. But thanks to code Zeto.12, you can get 12% discount. But not only on this model, on any model which you'll find on their website. So I will leave a link in the description below. Take a look, choose one which you would like to buy, use my code and save some bucks. All what's remaining is to say big thanks to Model for providing this amazing model so I can show it to you. And of course, I would like to say big thanks for watching, and I'll see you next one. Bye.